So that was number 3. Who has number 4?
Here, Jan.
Jan?
Mr. Twain, will you please tell us about your views on family?
Jan wants to know about some of my views on family. Yes, Jan, I've written some things about family. I'll share those with you. Jan, the most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you figure out why. Now I'll repeat that. The most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you figure out why. Now I know some of you are still trying to figure out why. Never underestimate a baby on account of his small size. He is enterprising, irrepressible, and brimful of lawless activities. As long as you're in your right mind, don't ever pray for twins. Anyone here ever had twins? Oh, I'm sorry. And there ain't no real difference between triplets and an insurrection. Anybody have triplets? So now you feel lucky, you see, just think you could have had triplets. My mother had a good deal of trouble with me, but I think she kind of enjoyed it. Now I wrote this about the schools of the day. The children were put to school, at least that was what passed for school in those days. A place where tender young humanity devoted itself for 8 to 10 hours a day learning incomprehensible rubbish by heart out of books and reciting by rote like parrots. So that a finished education consisted simply of a permanent headache and the ability to read without stopping to spell the words or take a breath. When I was a youngster, is it Jan? When I was a youngster, Jan, I attended a school at a place where the use of the birch rod was a hallowed tradition. It was against the rules to mark the desks in any manner, the penalty being a fine of $3 or public chastisement by whipping. Happening to violate the rule on one occasion, I was offered the choice. Now, Jan, I told my father about it. As he seemed to think it would be too bad for me to be publicly punished, he gave me the $3. Now, at that period of my existence, $3 was a large sum, while a whipping was of little consequence. And so, Jan, that's how I earned my first $3. When I was a boy of 14, my father was so ignorant that I could hardly stand to have the old man around. But when he got to be 21, I was astonished at how much he had learned in 7 years. When I was younger, I could remember anything, whether it happened or not. Now, when a man goes back to look at the house of his childhood, it's always shrunk. There's no instance of such a house being as big as the picture in memory and imagination calls for. I see some people nodding. I think we've all had that experience. Now, I have a few things in my mind which I've often longed to say for the instruction of the young. Now, some of you here are parents. Some of you, perhaps, with the gray hair, might be grandparents. So I hope that maybe you'll pass some of these ideas along to your children or your grandchildren. First, then, I will say to my young friends, always obey your parents when they're present. Now, this is the best policy in the long run, because if you don't, they'll make you. Most parents think they know better than you do, and you can generally make more by humor in that superstition than you can by acting on your own better judgment. You know, Jan, sometimes people don't know whether I'm serious or kidding, and I kind of like it that way. No civilization can be perfect until exact equality between man and woman is included. This includes the right for women to vote, which I hope happens in a timely manner. Well, here we are in this year, 1900. I think it'll only be 2 or 3 years, don't you, before women get the right to vote? I hope so. What would people of the earth be without women? Now, they'd be scarce, Jan, mighty scarce. Man was approached by a friend who said, "It's a shame that you've not spoken to your wife for 15 years. How do you justify it?" He replied, "I didn't want to interrupt her." Gentlemen, what ought to be done to the man who invented celebrating of anniversaries? Mayor Killen would be too late. So, Jan, that's some of my observations on family. The next